I was asked to show a video of all the ceiling fans in the house operating on all 3 speeds. So here it is. This is going to be a rather lengthy video because I currently have 15 fans installed, and I assume that the spin down is wanted to be shown as well, so this might end up being several hours long. But we'll begin here in the living room with the Hampton Bay Princeton in polished brass with medium oak blades. We'll start on low. I'll show the factory speeds for all the ones that I can. I guess the only ones that I can't would be the garage fans because those don't have speeds. So I'll just show, kind of 3 different positions on the wall control that are approximately low, medium, and high. And I think everything else has onboard controls. Yeah, it does. So just the 2 in the garage I can't show with factory speeds simply because there are none. Now for this one, I don't know if this is the RPM spec that it's supposed to be running at or not. The bearings are very stiff on this unit, and I do think that it's slowing it down a fair bit. It certainly stops a lot quicker than what's reasonable. Okay, now we'll move into the kitchen to the Crest 8600. Here's the Crest 8600. Since I have these on a dimmer, maybe we'll put the light on just a little bit. Don't want to put it on too much to cause the frame to get washed out, but you can add a touch of light to the frame here, just to make it look a little nicer. Now we'll move on to the Home Trends branded, which is a Hyatech product. Quick shot of them both. And maybe for this one too, I'll put the light on just a touch. The light looks really nice with the high gloss blades. The Crest is becoming a little squeaky. There was something with the light moving around. And these light bulbs make a very annoying high frequency hum when they're dimmed. I don't know why that is. Probably something to do with the dimmer. Maybe the dimmer is a cheap piece of junk. That's more than likely, really. It varies per brightness, and it actually varies per bulb as well. It's annoying. I think that the only way to correct this would be to find either a vintage dimmer that's of better quality, or perhaps use one of those Stacko controls that regulates the voltage instead of the whatever the weird things that these cheap dimmers do. Actually, you know what? I have lights in here now. I keep forgetting. Had no lights in the kitchen for months. We don't have to film in the dark. These are CFL, so they take a minute to warm up, but it's brighter. Okay, here we go. This is such a nice fan. I can't believe that this sold at Walmart. It looks like it's something that's worth hundreds of dollars new. The Crest is responsible for all that humming. That's coming from the Crest. This one is pretty much silent. Well, I guess it has some hum to it. But not much. I think the lights sound worse than the fan does. Okay, now we'll move into the media room, where we have an SMC Laguna. This is surprisingly quiet. I thought this was going to be very loud. You know what? I wonder if we could just clip that on there like that to get good audio from the fan. I won't know if that came out any good until after I review the video on the computer. I'm not going to do that anymore in this video in case it was just picking up a lot of vibration or whatever and it was just all garbage. But if that works good, maybe I'll do that in the future. Unfortunately, it just got cloudy and now the lighting is not as good anymore. That kind of stinks. Well, on that note, let's move into the bedroom where we have a Hunter Beacon Hill in Hunter's so-called bright brass. It looks more like stinking chrome. It's such a disappointment to me that this does not look like brass. If this looked like brass, it would be such a nice fan. Much, much nicer than it is now. And it's still nice, but it just, I don't know, it doesn't look quite right. It even looks like chrome on the video. I just turned off the Immortal Weather Shield box fan. Quite a hum on the higher speeds on this one, for a Hunter anyways. Still a noticeable hum on low too. Okay, now we'll move into the computer room where we have a Craftmade Picolo in, I think it's some kind of a jet bronze or rubbed bronze, oil rubbed bronze I think it's called, and medium oak blades. Let's see if we can get the exposure to be a little bit better here. Can you give me spot exposure? Let's see here. That's a little better. All right, here we go. Now the boiler is on, so we're not going to have as good audio of the fans anymore. It shouldn't be on for long. And over here we have I think this is a 28-inch hugger. I don't remember what the brand is. It was an off-brand I'm not familiar with. It's kind of dark over here too. Let's see if I can turn the lamp on or break the lamp. One of those two. It's a little better. Maybe we'll put the light on. Oh, that's way worse. And that's why you don't film ceiling fans with lights on. Unless you can tone them down a lot. Alright, it's good enough. If I open the door, it'll probably get a little bit brighter. Yeah, but it's way too cold for that. You don't have to worry about wind noise in the microphone with this one because it doesn't move any air because of the installation. I'm very curious to test one of these in a normal environment. In fact, I might move it out here to where this Picolo is just for the test because that thing is going fast and that's got some serious pitch on those blades. I bet that thing pushes a lot of air, if air can get on top of it. I also need to take this thing apart anyways because I think that black ring around where the blades screw onto the motor is not supposed to be there. I think that's part of the packaging or something. Certainly doesn't look right, whatever it is. Alright, now we'll go down to the studio and we'll take a look at the fans in there. Maybe we'll get a fan in here someday. It's going to be a challenging install for sure, but it is something I want to do. Alright, here we have a Hampton Bay Windward, one of the older versions. Let's lower this down a bit. Hold on, people, we'll get there one day. There we go. This is an exceptionally powerful fan. And it's pretty powerful if mounted like this, which definitely significantly reduces the performance. Over here we have a Murray Feiss fan. This is Kevin's fan. This is the one that we replaced, not replaced, kind of repaired the blades on. Really came out pretty good. This is a couple weeks later from that repair, and it's still holding up nicely. Nothing's peeling off or anything like that. You leave the light on for this? Yeah, I think so. This fan is also pretty powerful, especially for the form factor. This is a Hampton Bay branded 42-inch flush mount unit. I don't know what the model name would have been. Probably a 90s model. Very quiet unit. This is a Hunter Passport, I think. Silent. That's how Hunter used to be. This is back from when Hunter was still a quality product. Those days are pretty far gone at this point. Over here we have a Hampton Bay Landmark, newer version in antique brass. This one we might have to shut the light off. It's kind of bright. That works. Very quiet. These were still pretty good fans, even into the 2000s. Okay, now we'll go into the garage. As we go into the garage, we have a whole bunch of ceiling fans over here. Lots of ceiling fans. This is not even all of them. Kind of a nice day today. Not too chilly. A little bit of chill in the air, but not bad for this time of year. Alright, now in the garage, we have 3 ceiling fans. I turned on all the lights, so hopefully the lighting is good enough. A lot of ballast humming here. Alright, here is a Crest. It's pretty loud, but you probably won't be able to hear it much over the metal halide lights. It's got a surprisingly nice low speed for a 36-inch fan. There's 52-inch fans that don't run this slow on low. Okay, and now for the Envirro fans. They're going to turn on at the same time, but I'll show each one individually. And I'll just start out at like maybe 20% on the control. Kind of a aesthetic low. And these are on a Stacko 171 transformer control, so they are completely silent on the lower speeds. There is no hertz hum whatsoever. And as I've mentioned before, I don't understand why these controls are not more popular amongst collectors, especially those that do custom installs. I don't think there's any other collector, at least that I've seen, that has produced documented setups of these using these controls. These controls are absolutely fantastic, and as I can afford it, I'm going to put these controls throughout the entire house. There's no reason to use any other kind of ceiling fan control at all, because this is by far the best one. Alright, that's about the aesthetic low that I typically will set them on for aesthetics. It's around 25 RPM, I think. And here's the other one. Try to get a shot with both lights in the frame, because they certainly add to the industrial feel of the setup. Alright, let's go back upstairs now, and we'll switch everything to the medium. An interesting cloud cover. Here's what the plumbing looks like in my house. Nice old cast iron stuff. Okay, we just had a major liquid spill there. Let's get this bumped up to medium and then I'll clean up that spill. Oh, what a mess. And water all over the carpet now. Well, I guess the only good thing about a spill this time of year is it's so dry in the house from the heat that it'll evaporate in a couple hours anyways. Okay, spill is cleaned up. You can start to hear the bearings in this a bit. This definitely needs to have the bearings replaced before the next time I use it. It's fine for now, you know, you use it for the next couple of weeks, but next time this is used, the bearing should be replaced for sure. All right, into the kitchen again with the Crest. Let's see if we can get that frame straight. The refrigerator's making some weird noises. I tend to think that's got to be the evaporator fan hitting ice on the coil, because it comes and goes. I don't see why else it would come and go other than if it's ice. This is not going all that fast, but it looks like it's flying just because there's so many blades on it. Alright, and the home trends. Leave the Crest in the shot. Okay, now we'll go back into the media room and turn up the Laguna. These things are insane. This is going so ridiculously fast. It's moving a lot of air, but it sure is loud. I guess it's not really any louder than a box fan or something like that, though. bedroom again. This remains pretty reasonable on medium without a high. This thing takes off like that SMC does. I think this thing on low was still going faster than the Picolo on medium, or maybe about the same. This thing goes ridiculously fast. Alright, we'll go back downstairs now. I'm going to have to take a break to change the battery in the camera, because it's about gone, and I think we're only halfway through the video. Alright, we're ready to continue. There's a light. Okay, I'll go up to medium on this one. It's getting pretty chilly in here with all this air moving around. It's only 63 degrees in here. It's pretty cold. Last night it went down to 41. Seems to be ticking a little bit. That's the mounting. There, now it's quiet. Through the ceiling fan jungle and back into the garage. Different cloud cover this time. The medium, which is not the fastest or the slowest speed. Quite a bit of hum now. That's probably largely because of the way it's mounted, which is screwed directly to the joist. Okay, I'm going to turn this up to about 50% on the control. That might not be exactly 50% speed necessarily, but that's what we'll do. Well, actually, we'll go like 55. If it doesn't seem to be about medium to me, I'll turn it up a little bit more. These take some time to get up to speed. No, we're gonna have to go more than that. Let's try 70. I guess the voltage to speed is not exactly linear. And these are extremely loud because of the way they're mounted so close to the, with the blade so close to the beams like this. Even that's not really a medium speed yet. Let's go up to about 75. Well, maybe 80% then. Yeah, that's probably about medium. We'll do 80%. These are loud, but it's all ear noise. There's no stupid buzzing noises from garbage controls. You can hear that chopping sound at certain angles worse than others. Yeah, it's right around here is where it's the worst. I wonder if straight blade ones would have been quieter. Probably. Despite the mounting this way, these still do move a significant amount of air. I'm surprised they move as much air as they do mounted this way. In fact, the air circulation is so strong from these two. If the crest is off, it'll spin backwards from the air rushing back up to the ceiling. Alright, now we'll go back upstairs and we'll bump everything up to high. There's the garage telephone. Ding! Yeah, it really is quite pleasant out today, all things considered. More interesting cloud coverage moving through. Stupid squeaky door. There's the light. Anybody want to see this in the living room? An Emerson heat fan. That thing is so loud. It's ridiculous. It's getting nice and warm in here. Okay, let's bump this up to high, which is the fastest speed. I'm going to close the shades here by the television set. And we're definitely hearing the bearing noise now. But it's no big deal, we'll just change out the bearings. Fan's still perfectly good. The vibration from that Crest is so strong, I can actually feel where it is on the floor. And you can hear it up here too. Yeah, I can tell what beam it's on as the floor is vibrating so bad. I don't notice that with the Envirro fans. Okay, let's head into the kitchen where the Crest is, which has had every stinking blade configuration imaginable put on this stinking thing. It's getting kind of dark in here now because the sun has moved towards the other side of the house. It's not pouring in these windows anymore. There's the high, which is the fastest speed. Shakes pretty bad. I've rearranged the blades a couple times on here now and it hasn't, the ordering has not made any difference in the balance. So either the motor holes are not in complete alignment or the blades do not weigh the same amounts. The clock is not far off enough to be causing any considerable issue. So I guess the next step is to take the blades off the irons, which I have to do anyways because somebody wants to see it running with just the irons, and then we'll weigh each of the blades. Somebody just sent me something on here. What is this? Okay, and move over to the home trends. I do think that this home trends is considerably more powerful than the Crest. It's definitely got a lot more pitch to the blades. And actually this is in very good balance too. Unlike the Crest. The balance is very important when you have these big lights because the slightest amount of wobble amplifies the shaking on the light. Or rather, the wobble is amplified by the light in appearance. So like the Crest is only very slightly out of balance, but the light looks like it looks... I haven't eaten anything yet today. The light makes it look like it's about to shake off the ceiling. Someone sent me more stuff on here. What is this? Frank's Christmas lights. Alright, let's show this insanity here in the media room. Hopefully the media room doesn't blow apart. I'll need this room later to make this video. I can't believe that's only medium. That is outrageous. Let's see if it captures the startup sound nicely. I think this runs faster than the Dayton 36-inch. And the speed must be some multiple of 59.94 because it looks like it's barely moving on the camera. But it's got to be, let's say, either, you know, it's got to be like 60 RPM, 120 RPM, 240 RPM, 360 RPM, or maybe like 420 RPM, I think. I wouldn't be surprised if it's just over 400. And this is absolutely flying. It's kind of scary to think those are only cheesy fiberboard blades. The metal ones I wouldn't expect to fly apart, but the wood ones, you've got little screws passing through there. It's a very small amount of surface area that's holding the plates on. It's a little concerning. Of course, this is also going so fast, the blade would probably shoot straight out and hit the wall before it hits you or anything in the room. I can't wait to test this in the living room. That is going to be such an interesting performance test. Now this one in here gets going pretty good too. This is another one I want to try in the living room. I suspect this would potentially handle the living room okay. These are very high performance. Probably among the most powerful 42-inch fans there were. Maybe the Bayport, since it only has 4 blades, would be a little more powerful, but other than that, these are probably up there amongst the most powerful 42-inch fans. It is disappointing that this shakes so much. I would have expected better from Hunter. The clock on the irons is pretty much perfect, so it's got to be a blade weight issue. This thing looks like it's crawling compared to those other two. This doesn't move very fast. It definitely works a lot more off pitch than speed, which is probably why it's so quiet. Even on high, it doesn't really go all that fast. I really feel like this would move a serious amount of air if it was installed somewhere correctly. That's running fast. All right, let's go downstairs. The high. That's moving very fast. The high. This has some balance issues, and try to reorder the blades and see if it makes it any better. Otherwise it just kind of is what it is. It's not my fan, so I don't want to try bending the brackets. The brackets don't even look that bad anyways. This also is a very powerful fan, definitely above average. floor is totally unlevel here, so it's making the video all messed up. This one moves pretty fast too. It throws out some air too, that's not bad. I don't use these fans that much. Probably mostly just because there's so much junk in the way. I gotta get all this cleaned up, and then if I can actually reach the fans, maybe I'd use them more often. I also have more fans I want to put here. I want to install at least 3 more, maybe a 4th if I can fit it. It's going to be a very, very tight fit though. The high. This is not cooperating at all. Hold on, people, I'll get it. Yeah, that's pretty good. The high. This doesn't run very fast on high. I wonder if the capacitor is drifted. Seems like it should be going faster than that. This is from capacitor plague era, so it's very possible the capacitor is no good. Yeah, I probably should check that. Okay, back into the garage. A new cloud cover to take a look at. This one's kind of interesting. the high. See how many times I can kick the camera in one video. Good grief. Okay, we'll bring these into outrageous territory on high speed. Yeah, these move pretty good at full power. Both of them are in very good balance. Okay, now we'll start shutting everything off. Not many clouds anymore. Back through the ceiling fan jungle. There's a cold cathode light. There's the plumbing. the off, which of course is the slowest setting. And this is going to stop very, very quickly because of the bearing situation. This will probably be the shortest spin down out of them all. Well, it just sounded like something broke. Maybe something did break. I don't really run all these fans on high, so they're all shaking all over the place. Who knows? Yeah, that came to a pretty abrupt stop. I think the Crest should do a lot better. Crest is shaking pretty bad. I'm in the living room now. You should be able to hear the Crest humming on the floor. It's ridiculous how much hum that motor puts out. This Crest has pretty good bearings, which is kind of surprising considering how many years those bearings sat in that box. It's not too unusual for bearings to spoil when they sit for a couple decades, you know, because the grease dries out and so forth. But those are perfectly good still. And even more surprisingly, the ones on the Laguna are also still pretty reasonable. SMC was not exactly known for the best bearings over the years. It's coming to a nice gradual stop. That's how it should be. Okay. And the home trends. Good grief, all you hear in here is that stinking Laguna. I wish I could remember where it was. There was a bowling alley years ago back in the 2000s that had a whole row of those 36-inch Lagunas, the ones without the switch housing. And I remember those fans vividly. I remember that noise, and I remember the airflow rushing down. They're powerful fans. Bearings in this one are in very good shape as well. Exceptional condition. It's like not even slowing down. I guess Hyatech was more of a respectable OEM than I thought. I always kind of associated Hyatech with cheap junk because Hyatech was often sold at Walmart, but I guess years ago, Hyatech still put out a pretty reasonable product. And what's interesting about this unit is that this was sold at both Lowe's and Walmart, just under different names and model names, or different brands rather, and different model names. So that would put at least this model on par with the quality of the fans at Lowe's, and I would certainly expect the fans at Lowe's to be better quality than the fans at Walmart, especially under the home, under the store brands. This might have the best bearings out of all the fans currently installed. Gosh. No. Okay, now we'll turn off that insanity in the media room here. There's a very slight bearing wear, but nothing major. I don't think anything that warrants tearing it open to replace them. That day will come, I'm sure, especially running at that speed, but for now it's fine. Of all the noises a bearing can make, that's probably the least annoying and most easily ignored. I think the clicking from the Hunter bearings is more annoying than that. And it did stop pretty quick, but it's also worth noting that this fan has probably 2 hours on it. You know, the bearings haven't really had a chance to break in, nor are the blades very heavy. They're very lightweight blades. I'm going to stop the recording and just restart it because the video just hit 1 hour. And once this camera gets past an hour, sometimes it gets kind of wonky. Okay, now we'll turn this to the off, which is also the slowest speed, just like in the living room. In fact, this off is probably equally as slow as the one in the living room. This one doesn't have many hours on it either. This probably has less than 1 hour on it. But this seems to be pretty free and quiet, so that's good. The Hunter bearings never seem to really lock up. They just get that annoying clicking sound. Okay, this one has come to a stop. Now we'll go in the computer room here and turn this one off. So we'll just be left with the noise from the this other, whatever the brand was over there, shaking away. Okay, that has come to a stop. Now we can get this shaking thing turned off. A little bit of bearing wear on this one too, but this also has practically no hours on it. I doubt it even has 1 hour on it. I never use it because it doesn't move any air, which is no fault of its own, it's a fault of the installation. Turn off that light, although that light is putting out a good amount of heat. It's 3 100-watt light bulbs. It's pretty good. Probably should change all the lights in this room to incandescent for the winter. This is the coldest room in the house because it's furthest away from the heat source and it has the most windows furthest away from the heat source. And it's got a door. Okay, that's it for this one. Yes, we'll turn this lamp off too. Got a lot of air moving around down here. It is freezing in here. The off. Bearings on this one are perfectly good. No noise or anything. Yeah, by the time we get the humidifiers out, it's dry in here. This one behind me is a little bit squeaky on the mounting. Hurry up, it's freezing in here. I want to turn this other one off too. Okay, good. Now this one, which is making me very cold. It's only 64 in here. That kind of came to a bit of an abrupt stop towards the end as well, but the bearings don't exhibit any signs of having a problem, really. They seem to be running just fine. I better go get another cam or a battery. This thing's down to only 19%. I'm not sure that it's going to last long enough to get the garage stuff on video. Those Envirro fans take a long time to stop. I'm not going to cut the video until we have to, but let's bring another battery down so we have it in case we need it. And while up here, I'll turn the lights off in the kitchen. It's not doing anybody any good. And I'm going to turn this fan back on here in the living room to push the heat from this time of day into the rest of the house. It's already up to 80 degrees in here just from the sun. Such a beautiful, bright room. Turn all these fans off to not pollute the video with all kinds of noise. Okay, oh, this one has stopped already. The blades on that one need to be cleaned. I think that was used in a kitchen. They're kind of grungy. There's a paper on the floor here. It's not one that contains any important information. It's actually just a blank list of numbers. Okay, that's not very helpful. I'm sure I intended that to be helpful at some point, but I guess I never finished it. Typical. Blades in this one need to be cleaned too. I don't think I ever cleaned this one. I think I just put it up there and let it rip. But it should be cleaned. This one, I don't think it has any bearing clicking issues. Maybe this is a little bit older than the clicking bearings era, It seemed to be like mid to late 90s through the 2000s that were plagued with the bearing clicking issues. Must have been a change in bearing OEM or something. I don't know how old this one is. I think it's 90s. I don't think it's any newer than that. Okay. Last one downstairs here. That. I guess this one has pretty good bearings too. I think these are much better fans than people give them credit for. Okay. Through the ceiling fan jungle one more time. And back out into the garage we go. And there's a different cloud pattern for your viewing pleasure. Another kind of interesting one. I'm going to try to show both of them in the same frame because I got to shut them off together. I can't do these individually. So I think we'll go with that angle. The off. I only have 9% left. Hopefully we can do it. I hate to have to cut the video now because then part of the spin down will be cut out, which would be the unfortunate. Normally I'm not too much interested in spin down, but I'm kind of curious to see which one of these will stop sooner, or how much difference there is between the two in general. I've only got 7% left on the camera. I'm gonna go grab the power cord and just plug it in because I don't want to cut the video at this point. These take a very long time to stop. I don't think that the remaining 5% will be enough. Okay, it's plugged in now. Now it's the unplugged. Okay, now it's plugged in. Hopefully it doesn't go down anymore. It doesn't charge the battery while it's plugged in and recording. It only charges the battery when it's off. So I can't tell if it's actually plugged in correctly or not, other than by seeing the battery not go down any further. I think these lights in here need new bulbs. They're kind of flashy a little bit, which can either indicate the bulb is brand new or it's old. And since I bought these lights used, I tend to think it's old. I better buy them before the Home Depot stops carrying them, or I'll just buy them somewhere else that's cheaper. I try to buy them at the local store because I like to see them at the local store. I think it's nice that they're still there, but in all due reality, I don't think 1 or 2 selling a month is going to keep them in stock. This hasn't dropped. Oh gosh. This hasn't dropped past 4%. So I think we're good with the power. And it looks like this one closer to us is going to stop considerably faster. It's kind of interesting. Now this is quite the difference, and these have the exact same number of hours on them because they're on the same control. They always run together. So that's quite the variance in QC, I guess. I tell you, this Crest puts out some pretty good air. It's not bad for a cheesy little 36. Obviously not discount. economy model. Motor's pretty big too. I guess Crest made some pretty good fans. The first Crest I ever tested was the 8600, and I wasn't particularly impressed with performance. It was just the aesthetics that were nice. But the rest of the Crest models I've worked with besides that were quite strong. Yeah, we're still at 4. This is definitely working on the AC power now. This is really quite the difference. I wonder which one is the outlier. Is this one particularly good? Is the other one not very good? Alright, that has finally come to a stop. Now we'll turn off this Crest, and that will be the last shutdown for this video. That pull train operates very smoothly. I wonder if I could revarnish these ballasts, get them to quiet down a bit. I know some people like this noise, but these are exceptionally loud, and it's really kind of distracting when you're trying to film and there's this much noise. Huh, this Crest is lasting longer than I thought it would. The bearings are a little scratchy when it's running fast, so I didn't think it was in that good a condition, but I guess the bearings are still pretty free. I wish it was in better cosmetic condition. The brass is pretty bad. If the brass was better, I'd use this in the bathroom or maybe in the media room. It's a nice fan. It's just the brass parts are extremely pitted. It's not even like you can pass it off as, oh, it's just antique brass now. Like it's totally rusted out. Kind of works fine here in the garage because, you know, the aesthetics are not as important. You know, or if it's a little bit beat up, it kind of looks like it belongs in the garage, but wouldn't look too good in the house. Alright, so that Crest has come to a stop, and that will also bring this video to a stop.